In season 2, now that Clarke has a sense of a little bit what the weather people are about, because that's tonight's premiere, what kind of does she think, though? I mean, they're kind of not what she expected, I'm sure.
Oh, not what she expected at all. Almost the opposite. But of course, Clarke being Clarke has her suspicions that this place is way too good to be true.
So she's going to ferret out whatever secrets they might be hiding.
Correct.
Well, at this point, she really just seems to want to get out.
Yeah.
How determined is she to really pursue that, or is she going to kind of settle into their daily life there?
I think that there is a certain degree of having to settle into their life there because, after one escape attempt, she found herself in handcuffs, and then a second escape attempt, she finds herself in handcuffs. So she knows that she has to kind of play the game a little bit more to get out.
Yeah. How long is she going to be willing to wait around? It doesn't seem like she's willing to wait at all.
She's not, because it's Clarke. I think by episode 3 you're going to see her really do her best to get out, and it's very possible she's successful.
Does she have it stuck in her head that it's possible that Bellamy and Finn survived? Because she doesn't have any proof of that, though.
She doesn't have any proof. I mean, she's obviously hopeful, but as the first episode and second go on, she's really losing hope, and it's heartbreaking for her because those are her boys.
So is she kind of operating a place of desperation and grief?
Yeah, she is. I think, she even is starting to question the way that her peers are, whether or not she's just losing her mind. So that's really challenging for her.
Well, I've seen her as very determined and very focused. I've never really questioned her sanity. It seems like, again, she knows exactly what she wants.
Absolutely, yeah. And she's very intuitive, and I think, this Mount Weather being what it is, and her suspicion of it is justified, as per usual,
So she trusts her own instincts.
She does, exactly, but to the detriment of others at times.
Well, she also makes very interesting choices of who to align with.
Yeah.
Again, her instincts are kind of interesting in the choices that she makes of who to trust and who not to trust and when to trust them.
Yeah.
We know that Anya, of course, makes another reappearance eventually.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting dynamic between the two of them as far as, whether there's any trust there or not.
Yeah, there certainly is. Anya and Clarke are going to be it's going to be a really fun storyline. They're very unlikely allies, but they come together in the end, which is pretty cool.
A lot of surprises in that as well. Well, is Clarke willing to kind of relinquish the fact that she was kind of like the de facto leader of the 48 or the 100 as it kept diminishing? Is she really willing to give up that role? Because even at Mount Weather, it's like they've asked her to step aside and stop being a leader.
Yeah, which is really hard. That's the only way that's how she identifies with herself. That is who she's become. And to be told that she can't do that makes her really mad.
Well, who would you think at this point Clarke would be safer with, the Mount Weather people or the Grounders?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, it seems very clear at this point that she should be more trusting of the Mount Weather rights. Mount Weather rights? Mountain men? I don't know.
Folk.
Mountain folk. Yes, but the Grounders really aren't bad people, and you see that in episode, I think it was 9 last year, where we met Anya. I accused her of starting a war with us, but she points out that we started the war, and they're not bad people, they're just feeling threatened the way that we were feeling threatened. I mean, I think the way that any war starts, really. So yeah, it's hard to say, but I think there is going to be a really cool Grounder Arca relationship soon.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, also hanging out there is Murphy. Never expected to see that guy, and he keeps coming back like a bad Betty.
He keeps coming back. As Jason Rothenberg said so eloquently at Comic-Con, he's like a cockroach. He just doesn't die.
Well, imagine that, of course, Clarke would have some choice words for him. Are we going to get to hear those choice words, or is she going to kind of just go, oh, and blow him off.
Yeah, she blows him off. She blows him right off. She doesn't have time for Murphy.
She's just like, whatever.
Yeah, get away from me.
That's interesting because, again, she's one of the most outspoken characters. She doesn't have quite the same filter as some of the other characters.
No, she really lacks filter. But that's what makes her so fun to play.
So maybe that's one of her growths through this season. She's learned a little bit more self-filtering.
That's true, actually. She has. She's learned a little bit more self-control.
A little bit.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
Well, if she gets the opportunity, if she had a way of communicating with her mom, what would she like to tell her mom about the mountain folk?
Well, I think that she doesn't really know yet because she doesn't quite understand just how deep this issue goes with the mountain folk. She's still trying to gather information and figure it out, but I guess what she would say is that they are our enemy and the Grounders aren't, and that we need to come together and fight.
Okay, and as we wrap up, is there any romance this season? So far it seems like these people are so separated that there doesn't seem any time for romance.
There isn't a lot of time for romance, but you are probably going to see some very interesting pairing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, on that fun note, thank you.
Thank you.